Welcome back to the Midday Reset. My name is Antoinette, and today I want to talk to you about New Year's resolutions and this push that we always seem to make, or at least see other people making around this time of year, that centers on health and exercise and the body and the transformation and why that becomes such a huge emphasis of the start of every new year. And this actually came to me as a request from someone on Instagram. I'm so thankful for all of the suggestions that you guys send to me for topics to cover. So if you have ideas, you can contact me on Instagram at the Midday Reset. You can also contact me at middayreset.com or write to me at info@middayreset.com. So, I sat down and I gave this some thought, and I think that there's a multitude of reasons why this becomes such a focus at the start of the year. First of all, with the holidays ending and people starting to get back into work and the normalcy of what our lives tends to look like sort of comes back in January as the new year starts, I think it's very easy for people to decide that, you know what, I've been eating a lot of foods that I wouldn't normally eat during the November, December season time period. And so I think that it's sort of a natural development out of a season that is very much peppered with sweets and fine foods that we don't eat on a regular basis. And I mean, if you want to be truthful about it, it really does start in October, doesn't it? With Halloween, and if you are someone who celebrates Halloween, or if you work in an environment where they celebrate Halloween, you're getting access to candy. If you're going to parties, then chances are there's probably Jello shots or some other type of fruity specialty drink that's there to drink, and it's high in calories, high in sugar, high in fat. Then you've got Thanksgiving, and well, for those of us in the United States, we celebrate Thanksgiving, which is a big meal, and it's usually something we don't typically eat on a regular basis: prime rib, steak, turkey, whatever your choice is. And then as we move into December with the December holidays, whether that be Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa, or maybe you don't really celebrate any of that stuff, but you partake in some of the celebrations that happen around those, such as Christmas parties or other types of holiday parties, then you're engaging and taking in a lot of sweets, a lot of foods that are fatty, that are not the best for your body, but usually we all shrug it off because it's once a year, so no big deal. And so naturally, I think that people, once all of that is over, people decide that, okay, it's time to refocus and maybe detox a little bit. I know that I always feel right around the second week of December, I start feeling like I need to detox, and I still have a couple more weeks to go before I can actually do it for real, where it doesn't get thrown off by something like the Christmas holiday or a New Year's celebration that I participate in or that I throw here at my house, which really just includes me and my husband and my kids. And then we had a friend that came and visited this past New Year's, which was fun. It was nice to have somebody new visiting and spend that time with her. So that's one reason that I can think of. The other reason is that I think that people see a new calendar year, and especially with what we just did, because not only do we have a new calendar year, but we have a new decade now. And I think people see that and they automatically think reset, transformation, let's do something new. And just a couple of comments on that, because I'm all for personal change. I'm all for making positive shifts in your life that are going to benefit you long term. So I'm not downing any of that. The only thing that I want to say is that I think that it's kind of, I don't know why we put the pressure on for January 1st or for the new year, when in actuality, you can start making the changes that you want to at any time. I think that starting on 1/1 makes it really easy for people to track, and it's this really nice goal that if they stick to it for the entire year, it's something that they can celebrate around the same time the following year. You know, you can have a big New Year's Eve celebration um, in celebration of what it is that you've completed if you stick to your goal. And so I think the thought of that is nice. I think that, again, we're coming out of the holidays, coming out of some of the the pressure and the sort of I'm not really sure how I want to term it. It's required social engagement that we have to have during the holiday season. And I know that that was something that I struggled with this past holiday season. There was a death in my family. I mentioned that in a previous episode. And that happened right before Thanksgiving. And then I just was not in the mood. I got hit with a serious wave of depression, and I just wasn't in the holiday spirit the way that I've known it to be. But because I have children, I had a good time creating magic for my children and participating in that with my husband. So that was where the joy was for me this season. Usually I enjoy all of it. I partake in it. I have a good time. But this time I was just so worn down. I was still mourning the loss of someone close to me. And I wasn't as engaged with it as I normally would be. And so when New Year's Day came, I sort of felt like, okay, let me make as much effort as I possibly can to turn the page on how I've been feeling. And I will say that that has not been an easy jump start. I have been sitting at the starting line, turning over the key in the ignition. The engine is sputtering, and I finally got it to start, and I think I'm ready to move away from the starting line and start traveling down the path of my 2020 towards my goals. But I know that there are a lot of people out there who specifically suffer from seasonal depression. So every year this happens to them around the same time of year. And it tends to be focused around the holidays because I think there's a lot of pressure that gets involved in the holidays themselves. And, you have to be places and you're supposed to be happy and thankful and joyous and all of these wonderful things that and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, that's a lot of pressure on people. So I think that naturally, once we turn over the calendar and we start a new year, I think a lot of people feel motivated by the idea that, okay, I'm going to leave the past behind and move on. So those things are what I sort of contemplated on. And then, of course, if you look around you, we are being, well, I don't know about you, but I know I am being inundated with Peloton ads and Nordic Track ads and Bowflex and gym memberships that are both local as well as nationwide. And, personal trainers all of a sudden are boosting ads on social media. I mean, I'm sure they've always been there, but it just seems like all of a sudden now these are springing up out of the woodwork. And so that also gets people focusing on exercise and health and things like that. Because the nature of this podcast is to help people who are struggling with anxiety, with stress, with depression, and to just kind of be a tool of mental health support for people, whether that's through an escape and something to relate to, something fun to listen to, or you find some answers from the things that I say that help guide you towards things, towards better solutions in your life. Because that's the focus of this podcast, I just want to mention now that whatever you do with your physical health, kudos to you. If you decide you want to lose weight, if you decide to hunker down and quit drinking, quit smoking, whatever the case may be, your physical health is absolutely important, but do not for a second neglect your mental health. If you're not under the care of a licensed professional and you're somebody who experiences anxiety, depression, stressful moments, panic attacks, I highly recommend that you make 2020 your year that you seek to find that. And there are plenty of resources in your community that are affordable. They are convenient. They are useful and more accessible than I think a lot of people want to think that they are. It's not just that you have to call your health insurance company and figure out who they're contracted with that you can go to. There are other community resources available to you, and I highly encourage you to seek those out and find them because your mental health and your physical health, as well as your spiritual well-being, all of those are important to making you a well-rounded, happy individual, and that's all I want to see out of any of you. So, I hope this answers your question. Let me know if you had some additional thoughts. Thank you so much for the suggestion. I really, really appreciate those. You guys can contact me on Instagram anytime with those. Like I said, at the Midday Reset, also middayreset.com. Before I go, I just want to let you know that you should definitely check out the new middayreset.com. It's my shiny new website and I kind of love it. And if you love it, be sure to also give our sponsors Blue Litmus a peek because they can build you a beautiful website too. At middayreset.com, you can listen to episodes, you can get in touch with me, you can browse our shop, you can contribute to the Midday Reset, and you can join our mailing list. As always, it's been fun chatting with you. Take care, my friends, and I will see you next time.